Let's get to the details of the stories now. This afternoon, there's been a fresh twist to the feud between the Electoral Commission chairperson, Charlotte Osei, and some of her staff who are accusing her of corruption, abuse of power and conflict of interest in her handling of the country's elections. MPs have summoned her to appear before Parliament next week. We're live in Parliament shortly to get details of that invitation. But she herself has been reacting to the accusations against her. She issued a statement, and let me run you through that statement right now. Well, she says that the matter has caught the... Well, we'll get to that bit from the National Peace Council, but let me read to you what she had to say in her release. It says, "My attention has been drawn to a litany of phony allegations made against me by a certain Maxwell Opoku-Agyemang in a supposed petition on behalf of unidentified persons asking for my removal from office. The contents of the said petition, which has been widely circulated on social media and published by the mainstream media, are frivolous, baseless, and actuated by malice and ill will. These allegations are, in my view, the product of an overactive evil imagination and do not deserve any serious attention. I wish to state categorically that all the defamatory allegations are outright lies and without any merit whatsoever. I understand from the media that the presidency has received the alleged petition. I have my full responses ready for each and every allegation made in the so-called petition. However, in deference to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, for whom I have highest levels of respect, I would respectfully wait to be formally informed by the Presidency before I make my responses public. I take the opportunity to express my heartfelt appreciation to the staff of the Electoral Commission, political leaders from the various political parties, and members of the general public for the overwhelming support shown to my family and I so far. I am absolutely certain that once again history and truth will vindicate the just. The political motive hunting will not serve the greater purpose. The motiveless malignity behind this petition are self-seeking and faceless individuals with the sole motive of satisfying their purely personal vendetta against my person and protecting illegal financial interest. Finally, the Electoral Commission is an independent governance institution, non-partisan and with full protection for its officials under the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. I would wish that the political actors would respect the constitutional framework provided for the Commission and support in upholding the supreme interest of the Commission for the wider interest of our democracy. Thank you. Signed, Charlotte Osei, Mrs. Chairperson, Electoral Commission. Those are words from the Electoral Commissioner's letter that we saw on her Instagram page. We'll be going over to Parliament, but that matter has caught the attention of the National Peace Council. Its chairman has been speaking to my colleague Beatrice Edu. Well, shortly, but we can go live now to Parliament, where our correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is with the details there. Hello, Joseph. Now, take us through the details of this invitation. How did this emerge or make its way onto the floor of Parliament today, and what was the response? Joseph, if you can hear me, do reposition because it's difficult to hear you.
If you can hear me. Let's
try it again.
Okay, so what I'm explaining to you is that earlier today, the majority leader was saying what is beside that. The business.
I'm afraid we'll have to call you back, Gakpo. The sound is really bad, and we're finding it difficult to hear you. Well, let's go over and take the Peace Council's chairman on that matter, and then when we're able to establish a proper link with Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, we get the details from why they want her to appear in Parliament next week.
Thank you very much, Rev. So this week we heard this huge allegation against the Electoral Commission boss, and we know that her position is one that has immunity, but here we are, workers calling for her impeachment over several allegations. What would you say about this?
As far as I'm concerned, I have had the privilege to read what they have written and what she has also written in defense. I will caution that for the good of this country, we need an electoral commission that is united. Therefore, whatever the problems are, we must find ways and means of addressing these kinds of issues. At the moment, I wouldn't say that if it is possible for them to use arbitration to address this internal problem that they might have, the better. But from what I have read from the chairman, she believes that, there is an element of, people accusing her of something that she hasn't done, and therefore she wants to seek redress from the courts because they have also written to the president and all that. I would think that the authorities that be will use their good offices to put in place an arbitration team to sit and listen to both sides and try to find ways and means of, bringing peace to this very important institution that is there for the promotion of our democracy.
Do you think the back and forth has the potential of destabilizing or disorganizing this electoral commission or the system?
Yeah, but if the very people who are responsible for this important aspect of Ghanaian democracy are at loggerheads and there is tension, then you know that it will have a wider implication. That's the reason why I'm saying that as with dispatch, it will be very, very important for the issues to be addressed, not antagonistically, but for people to sit and judge and see, how they can truly address the issue so that they will have the peace of mind to do the job that they need to do. Even though elections are over, the Electoral Commission still has responsibility to prepare to work on a number of things. There are policies that they need to look at. How do you improve the electoral system and all that? And you need all of them to be able to work on that.
Finally, Reverend, you are talking about the need to dialogue and to have a JoJo. These people allegedly are saying that this woman takes decision arbitrarily and she kind of doesn't really coordinate with them. That is the allegation. I cannot independently confirm that. But if that is the case, then how else do they have to go about it?
No, you said alleged. It's an allegation. And she also is saying that's not the way I function. That's why we need to sit and listen to those who have written whatever they have written, and we'll listen to her side of the story and then try and see whether we will not be able to bring them together. It's an allegation, so you say it is alleged. It's not a confirmed thing yet, okay?
Most Reverend Asante there speaking to Beatrice Edu. Let's go over to Parliament where Gakpo is standing by. Gakpo, if you can hear me, tell us who instigated this invitation and why.
Okay, so there was a question that was filed by the Member of Parliament for Subin, that's Eugene Boachientry, and the question was a very specific one that it was expected that the Electoral Commission boss would come and respond to, and in summary, what he's asking for from the Electoral Commission boss is that she comes to explain to the House how the Electoral Commission spent the amounts that accrued from the monies that they collected from media representatives for covering the 2016 general elections. And then the second question had to do with the replacement of lost or misplaced voter ID cards. He's asking the question how these amounts have been applied. This question was filed some weeks back, we understand, and today on the floor of Parliament, the majority leader, that's Osei Mensah Bonsu, indicated that the decision has been taken that Madam Charlotte Osei would appear before the committee. That's next week, Wednesday, and then it would be a meeting of the committee of a whole, not exactly an open sitting, but members of parliament sitting in a closed-door session, and they would be, seeking answers from her on those particular questions that the MP for Subin has put across.
Well, having said that, if this was filed some weeks back, is it a mere coincidence that it has come up now that the petition has been sent to the presidency?
Well, those are the details that we're seeking to get from the member of parliament in question who put out this, question to the Electoral Commission boss. Unfortunately, he's unavailable in the chamber at the moment, and so there isn't much clarity on what prompted him to want to put this question across to the Electoral Commission boss. Well, the speculations are that it's possible the concerns may have come to his attention about these issues about alleged corruption at the Electoral Commission, which prompted him to actually, seek answers on that using the various parliamentary procedures. But there isn't firm confirmation of that from the member of parliament himself, the gentleman who filed the question. We've not been able to get that clarity yet from him.
But did it emerge in parliament as well that there has been a petition? Was it a part of the discussion today in parliament?
It didn't come up at all. This was just the reading of what is called the business statement, and so the majority leader just went ahead to indicate that she would be appearing next week, and those are the specific issues relating to how much was spent on the voters ID replacement and how much accrued, and then the issues relating to media accreditation. The focus is specifically on that, and that's what they look forward to her responding to when she appears next week.
Does this mean that this is totally unrelated to what we've been discussing so far?
That we will be unable to tell. Of course, it will be, the members of parliament themselves who would be able to clarify this, particularly the MP who actually put out the question. But, let's get clarity from some other members of parliament if they think that this is actually a related issue, and as to whether this is actually something that should come to the attention of the House. There's been conversations about the petition itself outside the precincts of parliament. The Honorable Gunu Mohammed Abdul is the member of parliament for Savelugu. We heard that the Electoral Commission boss will be appearing next week before parliamentarians. We also know that there's been the whole issue about alleged, issues of corruption, that there's been a petition to the president to remove her from the position. Do you get the sense there's anything related in terms of how she'll be appearing before the House next week?
Well, before I proceed, I would like to take this opportunity to extend my greetings to all your cherished viewers. As you know, Electoral Commission is an independent body, and for that matter, it should be devoid from all kinds of allegations. And for that reason, once these issues have been raised, I think they are very critical and serious allegations. And Parliament, as lawmakers, we need to summon her here so as to ascertain the truth about the whole saga.
Okay, so you think it will be a good opportunity to clear up the issues about the petition that has gone out to the president demanding her removal?
Yes, definitely. And if after all these interrogations, I think that there will be recommendations from Parliament as to what next steps to take. If it is to set up an independent investigatory body to go into the matter so as to clear the commission, because as it is now, it is not good and healthy for the development of our democracy.
So that's Madam MP there indicating that even beyond the specific issues that's likely to come up with regards to the voters' ID next week, they would also be seeking clarity from the EC boss on the petition as well that has gone out to the president. Gifty.
So we also know that the National Security Minister will be in Parliament to answer questions concerning the Gitmo 2. Bring us up to speed on that as well.
Well, again on that, the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Ekujeto-Ablakwa, who is the minority spokesperson when it comes to, foreign affairs, put out a question directed at the minister, and this question was again very specific, and he would want to seek answers, as to the current position of the government of Ghana on the hosting of the 2 Guantanamo Bay detainees in the wake of the recent Supreme Court decision that gave the directive that they either be brought to the House, a document ratifying their stay, or they be sent back. This is a question that he is actually directing at the Minister for Foreign Affairs, and we are expecting that would come up next week. But the majority leader in Parliament again indicated that beyond that, the National Security Minister would also be asked to appear before the House next week to also appraise the House and give information on the status of these 2 Guantanamo Bay detainees who are here in the country and the level of security threats and all the other associated issues. So beyond even the National Security Minister, it's also expected that the Foreign Affairs Minister would also be responding to questions on that. You would know that Parliament is going on break sometime early next month. That's when it's expected, August 1, and there are questions about whether the said document on the ratification may come to the floor before the House adjourns. But we would know more once the Foreign Affairs Minister and the National Security Minister appear next week to respond to questions on that, except that with regards to the National Security Minister's appearance, it will be a closed session where members of Parliament will be meeting at the level of a committee as a whole, and so it looks like they wouldn't expect that much details of this would filter out to members of the public.
Okay, it'll be very interesting to see how that goes, and indeed how the minority and the majority behave with the Electoral Commission's issue, especially because yesterday, as part of the press conference, we know that the NDC believes that there is a certain government interference at the work at the Electoral Commission. Did that? I'm sure it didn't come up, but in Parliament, would you say that this is something that's characterizes the mood between the minority and the majority?
When it comes to this particular concern that the minority from members on the majority side as well, and I've been seeking to get responses as to whether they agree with this particular suggestion. For those on the majority side, they think that this is a far-fetched allegation that the minority leader is making. They think that the president's hands are clean. All that has happened is a petition that's come to the president seeking answers on, seeking that he takes action when it comes to the management of the Electoral Commission and the allegations of corruption. They are expecting that the president would go ahead and do what is right, refer the said document to the necessary bodies to do the interrogation and undertake their investigations. But for those on the majority side, they don't buy into the allegation that there is any orchestrated move on the part of the president to get out the Electoral Commission boss. They think this is not possible. They see the president as a Democrat, someone who believes in the rule of law, and he's going to allow due process to follow without any situation of interference in the work of the Electoral Commission.
Very well. Thank you very much, Joseph Opoku Gakpo. I hope that once you're on your way back to the office, you'll have a very good weekend. All right, Joseph Opoku Gakpo there, bringing us up to speed on what's happening in Parliament. You heard it for yourself.